of the system that they've used. This part of the system that they've used to control people, and it is control, but at the same time, it's something that you can use not to control other people, but to use your mind freely however you want to use it. But they don't like us to have the information. So they intentionally and deliberately tell you enough information to allow you to make a couple 100,000, but they don't want you to make tens of millions of dollars. And the difference, he says, between the people who make tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and the people who make 100,000 is a huge difference. Okay, they do. Here's what I know. Here's what he told me, and I was in his program, deep into his program, and when I say program, he has an organization where he has an organization that he put together that mimics his training in the secret societies. What I did was I took that training that I learned from him, just the parts that were like principle based that anybody could do. And I just put that is where also level 3 training comes from. Level 3 training comes from a really, really high level of his organization. But the challenge is you got to pay $5,000 to get access to it. It's about $5-6 grand to get access to it, and it's $150 a month or $300 a month because he wants people to be teachable. So what we did was we replicated a mini version. The reason this is so effective is because none of this is just me thinking in my imagination, like, hey, I think I just want to create a group. A lot of people out there are doing that. They have an imagination and say, I think we should create a community. Everybody's doing it. And this is the wave. And then they make a community, but they have no intent to really transform or change people. And when I say transform them into the people they want to be. They don't have a plan to do that. They don't have the right information to do that. The information that y'all have right here is enough to change everything in your life, as you can see. And slowly but surely, we're just learning more and more and more. So everybody in the room, you're learning more and more and more. Today, I want to talk about something that even my mentor did not know about. Give me one second. So I want to talk to y'all about a concept that my mentor doesn't know about that much. But I do want to go over what he considers to be the quote secret. He said the elite societies do not care if you know about law of attraction. They don't care. It doesn't matter to them if you know about law of attraction. But the reason that is the case is because they knew and know and they believe that the reason success happens the way it happens is because of genetics. Now, let me explain this. Genetics in the elite classes view is very different from the smart scientist view. The smart scientists and a lot of the scientific experiments that go on today are funded by people who want to skew results of that experiment in a certain way. Okay, so imagine pharmaceutical organization pays for research about if the pills are safe. And then the research comes out, oh, this is actually safe, because they do a trial for a few weeks or a month when you can't know if a substance is safe because people, if they haven't taken it for 10, 20 years. You have to see the side effects for 10, 20 years. So what they do is they run research, they get research done, clinical experiments that only last a month when a person is about to be taking a substance for the rest of their lives. And they say, it's safe, it's safe. So he understands how this works. Okay? So what we're doing here inside of this group, inside of 365, is the exact opposite. What we are doing is we are empowering you to use consciousness to create reality. That is what we're doing. Now, this is what he said he does not want people to know. The elite class is trying to desperately hold you back from knowing this information. And here it is. They don't care if you know about law of attraction, but they do care about if you realize your brain is a sending station for the most powerful frequencies in the universe. And the reason they don't want you to know that your brain is the highest, produces the highest frequencies in the universe, is because if you found it out and actually used it, you can change anything. They can't stop the laws from working. They know that. These laws were here before any of us got here. And here's the evidence. The cell phone you're using is catching a signal. If you ever see the Zoom code, you can't get into this Zoom without the code, meaning the frequency. So the frequency is being emitted from my phone, hitting off satellite, hitting your phone or whatever. And you are catching the signal through your phone because your phone is attuned, your computer is attuned to the frequency that is being sent off. That's the reason that you can see me right now. Now think about it. It goes miles and miles and miles. It goes through walls. It goes through buses. It goes through buildings. And it goes through the earth and gets to you. Think about that. Somebody on the other side of the world could be seeing me at the same time as you are. And it goes through the entire globe and hits the person's cell phone. I want you to think about that real quick. That is how powerful frequencies are. Now, the reason that it can go through walls is technically on a very structural level, because the frequency of thought is particles are smaller than the particles of the walls. So that's the reason it slips through, because it's the smallest. It says in the Tao Te Ching, the smallest thing can slip into the smallest spaces. Your frequency that you let off from your brain, the particles that you let off from your brain, are smaller than the particles in the universe. So it just goes straight through them. That's why the frequencies penetrate all time, space, and physicality. The difference between a cell phone and your brain, though, that they don't want you to know, and they won't even. If you ask ChatGPT this, it won't tell you. It's so crazy. The things that the small few things, and it's so minute that it's like, oh, that's irrelevant. I can learn everything else. But this is the most important thing. Your brain, when you think a thought, and you think a thought with intensity and power, you let off a powerful signal that penetrates the entire cosmos at once and takes zero time to get to its destination. And here's the other difference. This is what they don't want you to know. The power of the thought, the frequency of the thought you think shows up at the other location with the same amount of power you thought it with. This is totally different from a cell phone tower, because the further into the sticks you go, the less signal you have. That's not how it is with the brain. This is what they don't want you to know. If you were in max security prison in the hole, you can connect to another brain outside of it, regardless what the cell bars say and where you are, because your brain lets off a frequency. If somebody wanted to get released from prison right now, they can, because the frequencies of their brain are more powerful than any bars of the place. And the universe always gives back what frequency it puts out. This all happens through your brain. So what's the secret? What's the big secret? Here's the big secret, okay? They're poisoning water. They poison your food. They tell you stories, okay? They tell you stories. Absolutely. They tell you stories. They tell you, they give you ideas. They give you partially true ideas. And those ideas, what they do is they get into your DNA. Your parents already got programmed with these ideas. Your parents' parents have been programmed with these ideas. And they get passed to you genetically. And guess what? Guess what your genetic DNA code does? All it does is vibrate frequency. So think about it. You are walking around creating reality. Your DNA is doing it automatically without you thinking about it, which is why some people are, quote, born lucky or born a leader or born. What does it mean when they're born away? It means that their DNA is vibrating certain things. Just to give you an example, I listened to this copywriter dude whose dad was a doctor and understood the mind. Okay. He taught his son about the mind at a young age. He told his son he can do anything. He told his son he could strive and create anything that he visualizes. Both parents put this into that son. The son makes $1 million at 18 years old. He gets invited by a group of people who lived in California. His friend was making, I think it was 200 grand a month. He said, "You get it, and most people don't. We try to invite you in." And he said the roommates he had around him were holding him back. He goes to California. He made $100,000 that month. It was his biggest month. This is what happens when the DNA code is already attuned to just magnetize money. He doesn't have to do any work. It's actually effortless. It is not work for him. And then they can't understand why you don't, if they don't know what they're doing, if they don't know this is genetics, and they haven't been taught by their parents exactly why their DNA is like this, they'll go, I don't know why these other people can't do it. They are confused at why it's not so easy for you. Truthfully, they just go, I don't know what's wrong with them. And they think of you as less than. This is essentially what the elite class turned into. The elite class, no, they know it's genetics, but here's what also they don't want you to know. This is the most important part. This brain of yours, you have three things, okay? You have your brain, you have your DNA, and then you have your wiring, okay? This is wires, okay? This is your wiring. So these are the three things. Now, your brain, your DNA, and your wiring. Your wiring is I'm born with an ability to lead. I'm not there. It is not. I'm just born with it. Okay. I'm born with a warrior mind. I attack things. I'm born with that. I don't have to try to become that. That's just my wiring. I'm wired for high conscious activity and communication. I'm wired for it. I can't literally. I've not been afraid to be on the stage ever. Never a single time have I got on the stage and spoke to hundreds, thousands, didn't matter how big the damn school was. I spoke to huge groups of people. I've never been afraid. When I read that people were scared, the number one fear is public speaking, I couldn't believe it because I had no fear. That is genetic. That's my wiring. Okay? I'm wired for what I'm wired for. You can't change your wiring. So remember this, you can't change your wiring. Now, next, DNA. Your DNA it can be changed, but this is what vibrates and makes what comes to you come to you. So why are the thoughts that you think continue to come to you? It's your DNA. Here's the thing they don't want you to know though. By training your brain in a certain way, level 3 training, which is why it's so powerful. Level 3 training, which is why it's so powerful. It in fact changes your genetic makeup. It changes the brain. Because why? It's sending out frequencies. And like attracts like. Here you are in one body. The brain changes the DNA. It changes it. Okay, so now the DNA that you have in your body vibrates to you the things you want effortlessly. So is the game work hard and grow rich? No, that's what the elite class knows. The game is change your DNA. So why is it that you need to get around other people who have what you want and been where you are? Because they have a DNA that when you get around them, it transfers. What I'm doing to you on these calls is transferring what's automatically in my DNA to you. That's why you get activated. That's why you come out of the dust. That's why you come out of being stuck. Or it's easier to, because it's a transfer of energy. It's on purpose, it's intentional, it's deliberate. So it gets people activated. That's just my wiring, that's my DNA. But what it does is when you think about it, your brain vibrates your DNA and you will get unstuck as long as you are receptive to it. This is what the program does. So they don't want you to know that your brain can reprogram your DNA, because if you program your DNA for success, you don't need them or products, or you can't get tricked easily. You don't go into a trance, just listen to what people say. Okay? This is the key. This is the key. So the question is, how do you reprogram your brain? What are you supposed to do? Here's what they found. Okay? There are parts of the brain that you want to grow and expand. They found the part of the brain responsible for wealth is called the hippocampus. How do you spell hippocampus? Let's just try it. Okay, hippocampus. That's one of the areas of the brain. The larger the people with wealth have a larger hippocampus. They have found the larger the hippocampus in a person, the more wealth they naturally attract. It's genetic. Now, how do you get this hippocampus larger? We're talking about brain stuff now. Oh, that's pretty good. So, how do you get the hippocampus bigger? This is what they found. Get around people whose hippocampuses are bigger. And who are they? The happy, healthy, wealthy people. Literally, happy, healthy, wealthy people. Look, a lot of you just need to get into a new environment, right? You need to exit your current environment and get into new environments. You need to change your thinking process. That's what you have to do. That's hippocampus. Now, this is the popular one everybody knows. This is how you broadcast, the thing that allows you to broadcast signal. Your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is one of the most powerful vibrational frequency generators in your brain. It is the hippocampus and it is the pineal gland. Now, when you drink fluoride water, it crystallizes this pineal gland. Everybody knows this. If you've been in this space for a while, you understand that. What's the problem? How long has it been since you've done a cleanse, or that you've actually cleared up your water, or done the things for your physical body that will change it? I just look, Emily, you don't like this. So I decided. Oh my gosh, Emily, you'll love it. So I went on. I looked at Kevin Trudeau's. I was listening to Kevin Trudeau. So I'm listening to his audio again. I have listened to this legitimately hundreds of times. Okay, I've listened to it hundreds of times because I've been listening to it since I think it was 2020. I've been listening to it. Yo, I go back through. I'm like, what does he say to do that I haven't done yet? He said you need to do a parasite cleanse. I was like, how I do a parasite cleanse? It's like meat diet. I'm like, damn, meat diet. So Emily, you would be proud to know that for the last week and a half, I've been on just the carnivore diet. I've only ate meat and veggies. That's literally it. I don't eat nothing else. It's meat and veggies, and I'm checking everything. I'm asking chat when I go into the store, like, can I eat this? Can I eat this? Can I eat this? I go out, I'm like, can I eat this? Can I eat this? Yesterday, we out driving. I'm like, damn, at least you got McDonald's, Church's chicken or something. What you get? She got some Church's chicken. I'm like, damn, I can't eat that. I go into Price Chopper, which is our grocery store, and I'm thinking, yeah, I had to take a picture of some plain Jane sardines and get some olives that in that and the additives in it. And I just ate the sardines and Look, when I tell you my mind is more clear, when I tell you I got more energy, I'm not hungry as hell all the time, and I get to eat food that tastes good too. I lost 10 pounds in like a week. It's just the inflammation went down. Now, what am I doing though? Whole point, I'm clearing up my body so that my brain can vibrate correctly. Next thing I'm gonna do is a candida cleanse. I'm gonna just do a gallbladder cleanse, liver cleanse. I'm gonna cleanse my whole body. Why? Whole point. This is what they don't want you to know. Remember, your brain is vibrating frequencies. And if you have a goal and your signal, the one thing that generates the signal is weak, you get a weak return. That's the reason you keep wanting what you want and it's not coming. Your brain is not letting off a powerful enough frequency. That's the reason why. So if your brain is not letting off a powerful frequency, then you will not have a powerful magnetism for the things that you're letting off. So you may be thinking about what you want. But the problem is you don't let off a strong signal because you got your pineal gland is calcified. The hippocampus is small from underuse. You get people to tell you what you can't do all the time, what you won't do all the time. You get people to tell you that. So, how do you change this? Look, engage the material. Engage the material. Engage the material. Everything you need to know is in the material we post here. Y'all about to get a whole nother huge piece to the material when you hear your wish, your command. We posted it in a Quantum Mastermind a while back, but we're about to start kicking back into that swing. When you hear the KT's words, you'll understand why he does what he does and why we do what we do. There are very few secrets, y'all. You don't need all these secrets. All you need is to be able to vibrate correctly. Hippocampus and pineal. Pineal gland, you have to decalcify your pineal gland by eating the right foods, yes. But the main thing, you know what's going to really change this game? Meditation, reading every day. Meditation, reading every day, associating with other people who are successful every day. Feeling good, feeling gratitude and appreciation every day. Feeling good and feeling better every day. Attending major functions which shakes the dust off of your brain every so often. Massages once in a while. Get outside and walk physically in nature on a regular basis. This is all stuff that grows your hippocampus. It increases the signal of your pineal gland that is in your brain. They don't want you to know that it's the brain they're trying to stop you from activating. That's what they don't want you to know. They don't care if you know law of attraction. They know the average person who knows law of attraction is not going to use it properly because they're vibrating incorrectly. They have no idea they vibrate incorrectly. They have no idea that they're just vibrating wrong. Okay? Vibrate correctly. What's the correct vibration? If you don't have what you want right now and you are worried about it, you're vibrating incorrectly. If you don't have what you want and you are excited, you're vibrating correctly. If you don't have anything you want, you're vibrating incorrectly. If you have a clear aim of what you want, you're vibrating correctly. Simple. Simple. This is the secret they don't want you to know. This is what we're doing in this live right now at 6 a.m., 4 a.m. for some of us. You're changing your brain. And the desire is that you lock into one thing. Please get one thing. Because what happens when you have one thing in the brain lets off one signal. And when the brain lets off one signal, it brings back one reality. And that's where harmony comes from. As soon as you take this from 1 to 2, you're out of harmony. you're out of harmony. Your mind can only have one dominant thought. This is for winners, by the way. And once again, it's a DNA thing. You may have been accustomed to losing up until this point, being a follower up until this point, letting people tell you what to do up until this point, having no confidence up until this point, not being confident enough to not just speak up. Speaking up is like elementary. I'm talking go change your life. The best quote revenge is success. I don't care about what you think of me. I'm going forward. If you have not had the confidence up until this point, I'm gonna tell you, check yourself on if you've read any of the books. Because I'm telling you, I can tell when you haven't read books. I can tell when you're not listening to the audience. I can tell when you, I can tell. It's just an automatic, you'll start getting certain things. You'll start understanding certain things. You'll start to do certain things. You'll just call. You'll text certain questions. That's just different. Or certain insights. That's different than anything that's been taught before. It's things that people don't cover, but you get if you listen. This is how I know. It's automatic. So some of you have to take your game to another level. Okay? I think that the Bible say this. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Faithful are the wounds of a friend who tell you the truth. But sweet are the words of an enemy. I'm not trying to talk sweet to you. I'm telling you, you cannot be all over the place. You can't be all over the place, y'all. If I ask you a question, and this is everybody. If I ask you a question and I say, what is your number? The number you want to hit monthly, or the number that you need to hit in your business, or a scale of 1 to 10 of how you want to feel. If I ask you those questions and you tell me a story, you're vibrating incorrectly. Listen, excusitis is a failure disease. And you know what the synonym for excuses are? The synonym, meaning the equivalent word, is reasons or stories. It's the same. Excuses and reasons are the same. Excuses and storytelling is the same. You have to stop telling stories and making reasons for why and what when we ask for a number. This is everybody. You have to get over this storytelling. What's going on is you have a DNA structure, and this is just how all of us had the same thing. We have been conditioned to seek approval. You are just seeking approval and validation for the videos you make, the ideas you put out, the work that you're doing, the ideas you came to market with, why you don't have this, why you don't have that, why you haven't graduated, why you're still single, why. You have developed a habit of just telling a bunch of stories to justify where you are. So this is the last concept I'm going to talk about. Hopefully this helped you out with the brain stuff, okay? Next thing and the last thing, and then we'll open it for questions and hop off, is Carol Dweck wrote a book called Mindset. Anybody heard of this? It will change the game for you, okay? Carol Dweck wrote a book called Mindset. Here's the concept in the book. She studied kids. She wanted to study failure and our responses to failure, okay? So she went to the masters of this, kids. All right, so here's what they found. They gave the kids an easy puzzle. The ones that were easy, they did it. Nobody had a problem with it. Then they brought out more challenging puzzles that were hard to solve and people were straining to accomplish. That's what the kids said. They said, when they got the hard ones that they couldn't complete, it was hard to complete. They said, I knew this was about to be a good day. That's what the kids say. I knew this was about to be a good day. Or they would say stuff like, this gets my juices going. I love this. When they are failing, they can't put the puzzle together. In the middle of not being able to put the puzzle together, they are celebrating like, this is so much fun. Okay, think about this. Now, think about the opposite. So this is called, that mindset, by the way, is called a growth mindset. The other concept under it is called a fixed mindset. Growth mindset believes not consciously. So do not jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, I believe that. That would be teachability index 0 at this point. So check yourself right here for teachability index, okay? Growth mindset is, I believe subconsciously that my abilities and my characteristics can change. And the potential is unlimited. There's no limit to how high I can grow or how much I can change in any given area. Fixed mindset believes my characteristics and qualities are relatively fixed. Once again, check your teachability index. If you catch yourself saying, yep, I know that, your teachability index is 0, okay? Think. Actually check yourself right here. Fixed mindset. Believe that you can't change, not as much as you would need to in order to be efficient in any given category. This is fixed. Now, here are the signs and symptoms of a growth mindset. The growth mindset wants criticism. The growth mindset wants criticism. Why? It's not fixed. They know, the person with a growth mindset, and you can have a growth mindset in one area and fixed in another. So just understand that too. The growth mindset for a person who, let's say, wants to get better at sales, because we're doing the sales boot camp, or want to get better at the business. What they want to do is they want to fail and they want criticism. So when we get on calls, here's a sign of growth mindset. When you get on a call, it's two different types of people. People who listen more than they speak or speak more than they listen. When I get on the phone with a person who talks more than they listen, guess what? You are exemplifying a fixed mindset, because what's happening is you're trying to defend your current position. You're trying to defend and make reasons, and this is everybody. I want you to understand, this is not just you. This is everybody. We do this. But I'm telling you because we get on calls. When I get on the call, and it's the fixed mindsets are talking more than they're listening. Their subconscious, your subconscious is justifying where you are, because it needs to justify, look, see, I'm smart, I'm smart, I'm smart, I'm smart. Look, that's what the fixed mindset is trying to do, because it believes its abilities are fixed. And guess what the other thing the fixed mindset says? She said this in her book. The fixed mindset people's ability and tendency to avoid measurement is 90 percentile plus. Listen to that. A fixed mindset and their preponderancy, the consistently avoiding being measured is high. They don't want to be measured, because if I get measured, I'm getting judged. And if I'm getting judged, you're seeing where I will always be for the rest of my life, and that's fearful. That's where it comes from. So when you don't want to, if you're in a business boot camp, or anything that I do when it comes to numbers, if you don't post numbers, sometimes it's because, look, I don't have them, I'm too busy, and I haven't figured out how to get them together. But that's not even an excuse. That's a reason and a story. The truth is, you can find one number to track. That's true. You can track how many people you had conversations with, or you can go back in your mind and think and estimate as accurately as you can. But if you are in a fixed mindset, you won't do that. Why? You don't want to be measured because it's a trauma from being measured. This is what keeps broke people broke. This is what keeps single people single. This is what keeps unhealthy people unhealthy. Unhealthy people, let's say if you want to lose weight, and that's the main thing, here's what you don't do. You don't want to step on a scale. What do you believe? I think that I'm going to be this weight forever. If I look at that weight, it's just going to show me what I am for the rest of my life. That's what you believe if you have a fixed mindset. Now, what's the growth mindset say? Growth mindset is like, let me step on this scale to see where I am because I need to know where I am to know where I want to go. Okay, 234. This is what I did when I was 234 pounds. I'm 234. I'm like, all right, I'm a big boy. Okay, so I'm like 234. I see the weight. All right, I want to get back to my normal weight, 200. That's my normal weight, about 200. So do I get in my head like, oh my God, I'm so big. Maybe I'm big boned. Maybe I can't lose the weight. Do I start getting into that? No. No. What I said was, all right, I'm running a mile a day. I know if I run a mile a day for X amount of days, somehow this weight is going to come off. I just knew that was true. That was my version of a solution at that point. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just run a mile a day until it come off. I know it's gonna come off eventually. There's no way that this weight can stay on me if I'm running a mile a day. I just concluded that. And guess what? I dropped down to 200 pounds. I was excited to weigh myself every day. Weeks would go by where I wouldn't lose any weight. I didn't care because I knew I can grow into the type of person who does lose the weight. That was what I knew. But if I get a person who is chronically bad with weight, I can tell you two things. They don't want to measure what they eat and they don't want to measure how much they weigh. If they have if they are chronically in that condition. You don't want to measure what you eat and you don't want to measure what you weigh. I know it because you are avoiding being measured and compared to other people because it makes you feel hurt. Growth people are like, who has been heavier than me and lost more weight than me? Let me go find you. Naturally. And then they'll go find a person and then they'll ask that person all the questions on what to do and how they need to be. And then they just change. They're looking to grow. They're not looking to justify the position that they're in. Thank you. So this is growth and fix. When it comes to business, I used to see this in the office all the time. People would come in, I'm like, what's your numbers for yesterday? I already know them because I paid attention to the group chat. I know the numbers. I know the numbers like the back of my mind at this point. They come in and like, well, I almost had one. And this lady, she came in and said, I hate DirecTV. And then they didn't buy it, you know? And that's not what happened in the store sometimes. People come out like, it's horrible. Don't do it in the middle of a sale. Okay, you lose it. It happened to me dozens and dozens of times. But here you go. When I know a person is just in fixed mindset, they're like, yeah, the customers were dumb yesterday. They were dumb. I said, so what you mean about dumb? Walk me through the actual presentation. Yeah, well, she just said, and would make an excuse. And I'm like, tell me exactly what she said. And they would keep talking around. I'm like, all right, do a presentation for me right now. Right now, do it from beginning to end. And little do I know, they can't. They stumbling over their words. They don't know how to introduce themselves. The presentation is ass because they haven't practiced. It's obvious. I'm like, you telling me that it's because this lady walked away from you? That's what you think? Yeah. Well, I can do it in the office, but I can't do it in the field. Guess what I do? I'm like, you coming with me today? Because I got to obliterate your excuses. They come out with me. I'm like, all right, what's your excuse? Tell me it. What is it again? Tell me all the reasons you can't get a sale. I'm going to do exactly what you did, but I'm going to get a sale. Watch. And I would just do it. Whatever they said I couldn't do, I would do ridiculous stuff just to show you could do anything, but you are making excuses. I had to learn how to overcome objections. People say, no, I hate DirecTV. Because I used to sell DirecTV. I hate it. I heard about it. I'm like, you had it before? How long ago was it? First question I asked. How long ago was it? It was like 2-3 years ago? Yeah, it was like, well, my grandma had it. I never had it. I'm like, your grandma had it. Thought you had it. You see what I'm saying? People just say stuff. I learned how to overcome these smoke screens. I said, your grandma had it? I said, where at? Was it like here out in the sticks? Where was it? It was further out. I'm like, her signal probably went out all the time. Yeah, it was horrible. I'm on your side. I know how to hack the brain. So now they talking about the fact they never had it. The grandma stayed somewhere super far out. I'm agreeing with her. I'm like, what was probably wrong was the base of the dish was off and it was faced the wrong way. It was off. That happens a lot. And all you need to do is get an adjustment. How much you pay for your service? $270. Like, damn, a month? But what you get? They get nothing for it. I'm like, do you want to pay that? Like, no, it's expensive. And I sell them DirecTV. So why is it, what just happened? You just was against DirecTV because you heard something from somebody who had it once. So I learned how to overcome those problems. So when I'm out with a person who's like, yeah, nobody wants it. I said, nobody? I remember one time, this is how the brain works. I'm telling you, it's excuses. This is fixed mindset. Talk to 10 people. They're like, nobody wants it. Everybody told me no. They on the phone. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. I don't know. Nobody wants it. I'm like, okay, how many people did you talk to? They look at the sheet because I make them keep track of numbers because the people over exaggerate. Then I talked to a lot of people. I said, how many? Give me the number. It was a bunch of people. Like they just kept coming in, and it was. I said, how many? 10 people. I'm like, how do you know what the sample size is? Go talk to 10 people. How do you know? You don't know anything if you only talk to 10 people. That's 10 people. Okay? I'm like, keep talking to people until you get one. And then I found 75 people. After 75 people I talked to, I'll get one. I realized that was my number. Like I got to talk to 150 people to get two. If I get two a day, I make $2,000 a week. That's the number. Like, let me just talk to 150 people. So now I know because I kept track of numbers. If you don't keep track of numbers, I can tell right away. It's a fixed mindset. You're just trying to justify where you are and you don't believe you can improve. This is the issue. Growth mindset, they're keeping track of their numbers. They know the numbers better than you, and they approach you and say, look, I'm having problems with this part of my process. The part where I have to ask for the business and they actually sign up. This is where I'm having problems, and this is what I'm doing. I thought about these few things that it could be because I've been thinking about it, but I want to know what you say. That's a person with a growth mindset. That's a person with a growth mindset. So if you're telling me about your business, it is, okay, here's this is what I've noticed. This is the numbers. This is what I realized about the business. In numbers, you're talking in numbers. You're not talking in stories. You're talking in numbers because you care about the numbers. You have to learn to care. But first, you can't learn to care unless you learn the growth fixed mindset. You have to go into growth mindset. So this is just the other concept that blew me away that can really help you in your mind. If you want to read the full book, it's Carol Dweck's Mindset book. It's a great one to listen to.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a great one. Leisha like listening to it too. If Leisha like listening to a book, I'm like, it's probably easy for people to understand. Because Leisha don't be like listening to other books that I listen to all the time. She'll read Thomas Trower with me, and we'll literally read one sentence and float for a week off of that one sentence because the book is so damn deep. But the other books, when she thinks she likes something, it's easy. I know it's simple, easy enough for people to understand. So that's one of them. Carol Dweck's Mindset. It's based on the research. So get out of a fixed mindset. Look at the areas of your life where you're avoiding measurements. And you'll find out why you are where you are. And I'm going to tell you, if you got a fixed mindset, it's very difficult for me to just be like, you got a fixed mindset. Because I'm not trying to make a pig sing. If you don't want to realize what your situation is, I can't help you with that. But if you come to me and say, look, I have an issue. This is my issue. I want it to change. And here's what I've been doing. And I want to learn how to make it better. I can actually help you in relationship, health, anything. But I can't help you if you just want validation. All right? Anybody got any questions before we get off here? We got a small group today, so we can create the intimate, small question asking. You got pretty much a one-on-one. Come on. Anything, and I'm talking anything, you'd be off topic no matter what it is. Whatever you want to know, just ask away.
Just that y'all connected some dots for me this morning, so appreciate it. I needed that kick in the ass, so thank you.
Good. 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 It's gonna get you corrected. This is everybody. Like I said, it's everybody. There's not a single person who is not fixed mindset. I'm fixed mindset in a lot of areas. I find myself in fixed mindset when it comes to certain levels of business. I don't want to measure myself on certain levels of business. And I realize that. Have to. If I want to grow, I may not be the best father I want to be, mother I want to be, or this I want to be, that I want to be. So I need to measure. I need to find somebody to measure this so I can improve. Or else I'll never improve. Good point. Anybody else got any questions? Comments, observations?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I guess, well, I think I kind of know the answers, but I mostly listen to audiobooks. I know you talk about reading a lot. I mean, is it okay just to listen to audiobooks, or should we really start reading? Should we really be reading the books, or?
That's a good question. Audio books do different things than physical books in the physical brain. So physical books, when you scan your eyes across the page, your brain has to first of all, put the words together and then formulate meanings to the words as you scan across the page. It's totally different from hearing a voice. So your mind is more engaged in more activities and more distinctions in the book than it is in audiobook. You'll notice when you listen to audiobook, you can drift off. You'll notice that. But you won't do that if you read a book. You may go a page without remembering what you read, but you know you just missed that page. And you can go back and read that page again. So it's different with a physical book than an audiobook. And I would read physical books because this is the deal. When it comes to Thomas Troward, I just told you, the way me and Alicia study Thomas Troward, probably gonna do it this morning. We will read one paragraph or one sentence and it'll hit us and we'll just start contemplating that. Like, oh my God, if you can't use something you can't see. If I don't know the power is here and I don't recognize it, even though it's infinite creative power, if I don't see it and know it to be here, I can't use the one that's here. That was one thought we thought about for how long?
It probably like 2 weeks.
It was probably it was probably 2 weeks that we just repeated that thought. You can't do that with an audio book. I mean, you can, it's way harder. With a physical book, you stop, highlight, and go, oh my God. Let me go and then read it again, read it again, read it again, read it again, and think about it from different angles. And then it becomes a part of your DNA. So the whole goal, remember, that they don't want you to know about is they don't want you to know that your brain can change your DNA. And the truth is, the reason we are broke, happy, or happy or sad, broke or rich, healthy or unhealthy is because of our DNA. Truthfully. But what they don't want you to know, that seems like a death sentence. Like, oh my God, it's genetic. But truth is, the brain actually changes the DNA if you think a certain way consistently. So that's the reason why you want to spend more time contemplating and intensifying the thoughts, because your brain is changing your DNA. You want it to be who you are, not just have it intellectually. This is what people don't get. The reason you're reading a book is to change your DNA, not to read the book.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Got it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for that explanation. Yeah.
You're welcome. Alicia asked a question. I think I helped too. She said, do I have a process of what book to read and how to read it?
Like, how do I decide? Like, oh, I like these audiobooks. Which one should I buy?
Oh, okay. Yeah. She's asking like how do you know which physical copies to buy out of the audiobooks you listen to? Right? So it is a process. Anytime you are reading a book that anytime you're reading a book that has phrases that hit you hard or a lot of information that you know is important, but you can't get it all, and it's just hit, and it's such potent information, or it seems too complex just to listen to, then that's when you get the physical book. That's what I'll do. I'll get the physical book. If I have a book that is changing my life, and it's like, damn, this book is really important. It's potent. I'll buy the physical book. Okay, second level of this, it's actually probably better than even reading a physical book. Is if you do listen to an audiobook. My mentor told me this one time. He said, a lot of y'all are listening to audios in the kitchen while you washing the dishes, while you cooking, while you cleaning. He said, that's good. He said, but the greats don't do that. They actually sit down and they're listening to it exclusively with no distraction, and they're writing the notes and transcribing what they hear. That's what great people are doing. Why? Because you're not really multitasking, you're task switching. The audios will help if you speak them out of your mouth, but physically writing it down, sitting down, reading, and then writing thoughts is totally different. So it just depends on how deep you're willing to go and how much of a student you're willing to be. That's what it is at the end of the day. Make sense?
Yeah. And what about a Kindle book? A Kindle book is kind of like the physical book, right? You know, like
It's similar. It's similar to a physical book. Having the physical mass of the book is best because it carries energy. But you can do a Kindle book. It's not a huge difference. It's every little degree of difference you can get it. But if you have to do Kindle book to test to see if you want to get the physical book, do it. Another thing with a physical book too, I want to just show you the visual. Thing with a physical book is I can do this with a physical book. I can flip through it quickly. Okay? And then I can look at my highlights. I can just go back and look at my highlights quickly. I can turn to any page and look at just highlights. It's a quicker process. It's a more tactile process. So when I actually show you like this book, and I show you how many pages it is, and I show you how small the words are, and I show you the parts that I highlighted in it. When I show you this, the reason that the visual is powerful is because this will make you want to get this book because it's a physical something here. It's different than a Kindle. So even the visual of a physical book makes you want to get that book more than another. So just see subtle differences like that. For instance, there's so many things we can go in on that, but that's what you do with books. That's what you do with the books. Physical is the best. You can do Kindle, but you want to physically read. Audiobooks are audios, not books. All right, so physically read books. Key.
Okay. Well, thank you. You know, it's interesting because I always kind of wonder about that because like sometimes I do like to just, you know, have a physical book in your hands. I hear that from a lot of people that, you know, they still like to. I just figure, you know, it's just being old school, but there is something about having a physical book in your hand.
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you also, one of the things Kevin Trudeau talked about the elite class and what they do, they want you to become dependent and they want to take away everything that is powerful for you to change your life. And one of those is physically writing.
Oh, wow.
Physically writing, and they don't want you to be able to read. They don't want you to physically write. They want you to call it old school. They don't want you to think. They don't want you to write. They don't want you to read. If you think, write, and read, then you're a thinker of your own right. You start to become your own self, your own individual self. That is not what they want. Because if you start to think on your own, you start to start not responding to the insecurity that they try to put on you. You start realizing that advertisements are for insecure people. That's who they target. They are targeting insecure people. So you don't get swayed by the same things. So that's what happens when you start writing, reading, writing and reading and thinking is key. Good question. Really good question. Anybody else? Okay, I'm about to go live. I'm gonna probably talk about the Kabbalah a little bit today if y'all want to jump on there afterward. So I'm gonna jump on the Kabbalah Tree of Life and start doing probably Bible breakdowns on that this morning. So if y'all want to hop on TikTok, you can. All right. All right, y'all. I love you.
Bye, love you.
Have a good day.
Happy 4th.
Stay